A single Gucci snake leather jacket can sell for thousands of dollars, but the skin it's made from starts as a damp, fragile sheet that looks more like discarded wrapping than luxury. How does something that raw, that delicate survive a factory full of blades, drums, and chemicals, and come out ready for a runway? Inside a certified modern tannery, the journey of snakeskin is almost surgical. No blood, no chaos, no dark basement. Just stainless steel, white tiles, lab coats, and a process so controlled that every scale has a purpose. Today, we're stepping into that world and following one snakeskin all the way to the kind of leather Gucci turns into jackets, bags, and wallets. If you enjoy seeing how luxury is actually made, not just marketed, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next deep dive. The story starts long before the factory doors. By the time the skins arrive, the animal part of the process is already over. The tannery doesn't deal with live snakes, only with salted, preserved skins stacked in bundles. Each bundle is tagged with origin, species, and documentation that proves it comes from regulated legal sources. At the receiving dock, workers in gloves and masks open the packages like they're handling lab samples, not fashion materials. The smell isn't rotting flesh, it's salt and preservative, like a wet seaside warehouse. The first real decision is selection. Not every snakeskin is worthy of becoming luxury leather. On long stainless steel tables, inspectors unroll each skin, scale side down, and run their hands along the surface. They're looking for tears, scars, insect bites, or weak spots that could split later under a sewing machine. A high-end brand won't accept visible defects on the main panels of a jacket, so any skin with major flaws is immediately downgraded for smaller goods or rejected altogether. Only a fraction of the pile makes it into the premium batch destined for fashion houses. Before anything can be tanned, the skins must be rehydrated. Salt-preserved snakeskin is stiff, almost like brittle parchment. To bring it back to life, without actually making it decay, the factory uses large rotating drums filled with cold, clean water and carefully measured additives. The skins go in dry, rolled like scrolls, and slowly uncoil as they absorb moisture. This phase can last several hours. Technicians monitor temperature and pH constantly. Too warm and bacteria wakes up. Too acidic or too alkaline, and the delicate collagen fibers start to break down. When the skins emerge, they're flexible and translucent, closer to their original state, but completely sanitized. Now the cleaning becomes precise. On a separate line, workers use dull curved blades and automated scraping machines to remove any remaining tissue from the flesh side. It's not gore. By this point, it's more like soft, pale residue that peels away in ribbons. The goal is to leave a perfectly clean dermal layer without thinning the skin too much. Snakeskin is already far thinner than cowhide, so a single careless pass could ruin an entire piece. Overhead lights and magnifying lenses help the operators see every uneven patch. Any leftover tissue could rot later, so this step is both cosmetic and structural. With the skins clean, the real transformation begins. Tanning. This is the chemical process that turns perishable skin into stable leather that can last for decades. For snake, tanneries often use chrome-based or specialized synthetic tanning agents that penetrate quickly and evenly. Again, the skins go into rotating drums, this time with a carefully controlled solution. The drum turns slowly, lifting and dropping the skin so that every millimeter is exposed. Sensors track how deeply the tanning agents have penetrated. The aim is a perfectly tanned cross-section, not a surface job. If done right, the skin becomes resistant to moisture, heat, and time, without losing its natural pattern. After tanning, the skins are no longer just skins. They're officially leather, but still far from ready. They come out swollen with moisture and chemicals, so the next stage is neutralization and rinsing. Multiple baths wash out excess tanning agents, bringing the pH back to a stable, skin-friendly level. Technicians sample the water, checking for clarity and chemical balance. Wastewater goes through its own treatment plant on site. Modern certified tanneries are heavily regulated, and discharging untreated water would be both illegal and financially suicidal. Clean leather and clean conscience are now part of the same business model. Once rinsed, the snake leather is still too wet to handle, so controlled drying takes over. Workers gently stretch each piece onto frames or lay them flat on mesh racks. The factory air is filtered and dehumidified. No open windows, no random dust. Some tanneries use vacuum dryers to pull out moisture without overheating the leather. Others rely on climate-controlled drying rooms where temperature and airflow are set like a medical incubator. Dry too fast, and the leather can warp or crack. Too slow, and mold becomes a risk. The result they're aiming for is a flat, supple sheet with no waves, no curls, and a no shrinkage that would ruin pattern matching later. Now comes one of the most visually striking steps: dyeing. Luxury brands like Gucci demand extreme color consistency, whether it's a deep black, a jewel-tone green, or a natural finish that highlights the original pattern. The Tannery's color lab works almost like a paint studio. Technicians test small swatches in beakers, adjusting pigment concentration, temperature, and time, until the sample matches the color reference exactly under different lights. When the formula is locked, the full batch goes into dye drums or passes through spray booths. For exotic skins, transparency is key. The dye must enhance, not bury, the natural scale pattern. After dyeing, a fixing process locks the color into the fibers so it won't rub off onto clothing. The finishing stage is where the leather finally starts to look like something you'd associate with a high-end store. On the grain side, the scale side, specialized rollers and spray guns apply ultra-thin coats of finish, protective polymers, waxes, or oils that give the leather its final sheen and feel. Matte, glossy, satin, or even metallic effects can be created layer by layer. Some finishes are hand-applied with soft pads to keep the scales flexible and prevent them from sticking together. Every pass is measured in grams per square meter. Too much coating and the leather looks plastic. Too little and it won't survive daily use. At this point, quality control becomes almost obsessive. Each skin is graded again under bright, neutral light. Inspectors check color uniformity, feel, thickness, and flexibility. They bend the leather, stretch it gently, even rub it with a white cloth to see if any color transfers. Thickness is checked with digital calipers, since fashion houses require precise tolerances for different products. A jacket panel might need a certain millimeter range to drape correctly, while a wallet demands something slightly thicker for durability. Skins that don't meet the exact specs are set aside or reworked. Only the top grade moves forward. Before the leather leaves the tannery, it's cut and standardized. Large, irregular shapes are difficult for pattern makers to work with. So many factories pre-trim the edges and measure usable area. Some use digital scanners to map each skin and calculate how best to place future pattern pieces with minimal waste. For high-end clients, the tannery might even pre-match skins by color and pattern direction, creating sets that can be turned into a single jacket or bag with a consistent look. The natural pattern of the scales is oriented carefully so that, when assembled, the flow of the design feels intentional, not random. Only now does the leather enter the world of fashion brands like Gucci. At their production facilities, designers and pattern makers treat each snakeskin like a puzzle piece. Digital patterns are laid over scans of the leather to avoid scars or small defects on visible areas like the front panels of a jacket. Cutting can be done by hand with razor-sharp knives or with computer-guided blades that glide over the surface without dragging the scales. Each cut is planned so that the natural lines of the skin enhance the shape of the garment. Scales flowing down a sleeve, following a lapel, or framing a pocket. Assembly is a test of both craftsmanship and engineering. Exotic leather behaves differently from cowhide. It's thinner, more sensitive to needle marks, and less forgiving if you make a mistake. Stitch lines must be precise, with the right thread tension so they don't tear the material. Sewing machines are adjusted specifically for exotic skins, and operators are trained to guide the leather without stretching or distorting it. Linings, reinforcements, and interfacings are added strategically so the jacket feels substantial without overwhelming the delicate outer shell. By the time the last seam is closed, the original snakeskin is almost unrecognizable, transformed into a structured, wearable object. The final touch happens in quality rooms that look more like galleries than factories. Finished jackets are inspected one by one. Seams, zippers, lining, even the way the leather reflects light. Any tiny flaw, a loose thread, a small wrinkle, a barely visible stain, can mean the piece is rejected or sent back for correction. For a brand that charges thousands, the margin for error is close to zero. Only after passing these checks does the jacket receive its labels, tags, and protective cover, ready to be shipped to boutiques where it will hang under spotlights, far removed from the drums, chemicals, and quiet discipline that made it possible. What looks like effortless luxury on a hanger is, in reality, the product of dozens of small controlled decisions. How long to rehydrate? Which tanning agent to use? How many microns of finish to spray? Where to place a seam on a scale pattern? The truth about Gucci's snake leather isn't a dark secret. It's an industrial choreography designed to tame something wild and fragile into something durable and precise. The exotic part isn't just the animal. It's the level of control required to make that animal's skin behave like a luxury material. If you want to see how another animal material is turned into fashion, with a process just as technical but completely different in texture, watch the deep dive into rabbit fur factories and how soft pelts become winter garments that feel almost unreal to the touch. See you there.